Are you constantly losing games in ranked play and feeling like you're not good enough or your teammates are holding you back? Well, today I'm going to go over a range of topics that will help you get better at Modern Warfare 2 ranked play. In this video, we're going to take you from silver, gold, and platinum, and we're going to get you into the diamonds and crimsons and maybe even iridescent. First off, we're just going to dive right into this. Game mechanics and game sense are one of the biggest ways to make yourself better at the game. So I'm going to split this video up into two different categories: game sense and game mechanics, and I'm going to go over some tips and tricks on how to play each game mode better. First off, starting with aim. You have to be prepared for every single gunfight that you're in. If you're not prepared for a gunfight, how are you expecting to win the gunfight? What happens to a lot of people in ranked play is when something's not going your way, you start losing focus and start playing a little lackadaisic, and next thing you know, you're getting killed in situations that you shouldn't be getting killed in, and you're getting caught lacking. Guess what you can't do? You always have to be prepared for a gunfight. Almost any corner there can be a gunfight. So let's say you're playing hardpoint. Every time that you spawn up, especially when people are rotating, there could be somebody, pushing through a spot on the map that you might not be expecting because they're holding the hill down and they're rotating early. You gotta be prepared for a gunfight. And this goes right with good crosshair placement. If you have your crosshair in the right spot, you have a good chance of killing the guy. But if your crosshair is aimed above the person or below the person, you have to lock onto that person before you can even hit shots on that person, while that person is probably suspecting that you're going to be spawning in this area, so their crosshair is already going to be locked in that area. This is something that you need to do. I know I've beaten crosshair placement kind of to the ground, so I'm not going to make a big deal out of it right now, but just remember crosshair placement. If you play ranked play, if you keep your crosshair in the spot you believe the enemy is going to be coming from, there's a good chance that you're going to pick up a lot of easy kills and you don't even have to think about it. So just remember that. Rotations, always be understanding how to rotate in hardpoint and control. Control is another big one because you always want to make sure you're taking a route and you're clearing out your lanes and you understand where the rest of the team is and you're counting players. Hold the correct sides of the hill in hardpoint and make sure you can get to the next hill easily. I have another video you can watch this and it goes more in depth in the hardpoint rotations. You guys can check it out. Control rotations will make or break your round. So let's say you're on hotel and if somebody gets in the top bed and you guys all go for going on a flank, you're going to get you could have 3 guys down and think the last guy is just spawning up when if you're not counting players properly. But what you just messed up on is now there's somebody in top bed and he takes down 2 of you guys, then they come off spawn and that's a team wipe for them then. So the first off, you need at least 1 or 2 people to go towards their spawn and try to lock down their spawns. Maybe like reception, maybe like chandelier, something to kind of get them in their own little area where they can't get out. And then you need to make sure you clear out top bottom bed. You don't have to get all of them, but you have to be aware of it. If you're aware of the person there, you can make a conscious play, or somebody can get the double desks maybe, and you guys can crossfire somebody and you can pick up the kill easily. Playing off your teammates is a very smart thing to do, even if they're not talking. Remember, you guys can always play off your teammates even if they're not talking by just knowing where they're at in the map. Spawns. Understanding where people are spawning allows you to place yourself in the best spot to kill them before they get to the objective. And this is more if you're an AR player. If you know where they're going to be spawning, if you know that they're not spawning on the hill, they're spawning out, you can hold a line of sight and you can basically at least tag them up and you can make them maybe 1 hit before they even get towards the objective. And tagging somebody before they get to the objective is the most annoying thing ever, especially if you're holding like a line of sight down mid and you're already on rotation. It's a pain. I always hate when people do that against us, and people do this in CDL and all that stuff. So if you're understanding where our team is spawning, you have a really good chance at being able to at least call out to your team where the enemies are, and you can see how many cross this area and are hitting, like let's say how many people are crossing lower bed going to double desks. You can call out to your team that hey, two guys just went double desks, and your team is gonna have a lot easier chance at getting those 2 kills. Movement is so key for this game as well. Always stay moving, be a hard target to hit, and make quick decisions when it comes to being where you need to be. Placing your character in the best spot possible and continuing the movement is probably the biggest thing, because momentum is insane in this game. If you give up your momentum, you basically lost your all the speed that you had. What most people always fail to do is they don't keep moving. Always be sneaking, always be going left and right, always have some type of movement. You want to make yourself a very hard target to hit. You don't want to be an easy target to hit, and this is something that people don't realize as they get into the higher ranks is why does it seem like they can gun me so fast but I can't gun them? Watch what they do when they're moving and then watch you on the kill cam. Watching yourself on the kill cam might be the best thing you can do, because you can tell if you were just a bot sitting in the corner, or you can see if maybe you were strafing and you were maybe a hard target to hit, or if you jump shot on a corner and did something really insane and it was really hard to hit and the guy got really lucky. Maybe he had aimbot and he just tagged you right in the head 3 times and that's why you died. It's always good to watch the kill cam to see what happened and maybe see where the enemy was located, so maybe next time if you die in that same location you can hold that spot as well. Moving over to hard points. There's some basics. I'm just gonna go over basics here, guys. We're gonna give you the raw basic stuff that most people in gold, even platinum, even diamond sometimes aren't even doing. You hit the crimson, people don't mess up in crimson as much. People do mess up. People are, especially if you're playing against a full stack, people aren't messing the stuff up often. Rotating by 20 seconds at the latest. If you spawn out and you're an AR, try holding some lines of sight. And if you're a sub, you need to get around a hill and you need to get those early kills on the hill, or you need to get the early kills if somebody's coming on rotations. Just remember that the spawns in hardpoint are based off the certain hill that you're on. So P1 spawns are different than P2 spawns. So remember that when you're playing that, if once P2 pops, the spawns do change for that next hill. And so that's why sometimes people are like, oh hey, why did I spawn out right before the hill popped? Oh, you spawned kitchen, even though your team had the back a lot, you spawned there because there was somebody already pushed up in spa, and that's not P1 spawn. It's just trying to understand how P1 spawns work versus P2 spawns, etc, etc. Holding hard points, locking down the area, guys, it's not that hard. If you know where they're spawning from, you know they're coming from chandelier. If you're coming from chandelier, someone's holding back lot, holding the wall, and someone's holding the heady. You got someone holding reception. You guys just gotta hold your stuff down. You gotta communicate. You gotta try to get one. Even if some people die in the hill, the goal is to win the gunfight. Especially if you're on the hard point and controlling it, win the gunfight. You don't have to win the hill. It doesn't matter if you have to jump off the hill to get back on the hill. Remember that. Let's say you can give the hill up for a second or two, especially if maybe your teammate just spawned back in, he's coming through spot. If you guys can do a 2v2 versus a 1v2, the odds are probably a lot higher that you're going to win that 2v2 versus the 1v2, just saying. So you always have to make the hero play. You can always hold hard point. You guys can be holding the area, but you might not be on it at that time. You still have to collapse on the hill to get the kills. But just remember, you can play off the hill and you don't always have to be on the hill. That's something a lot of people don't understand. Those 3 seconds are not worth the next 25 seconds. Understanding spawn basics. They are spawning where you aren't. So if you're spawning chandelier, guess what? They're probably spawning spa, or maybe they're spawning bottom bed. Depends on where you guys are at. But if you're spawning chandelier, they're spawning probably bottom bed for a P2 on hotel. That's a very generic thought process going for all hardpoint spawns. You spawn this side of the hill, they're gonna spawn the other side of the hill, and they're not spawning there, they're spawning far out. So depending on where you guys are, or how far you guys are pushed up, that will influence the spawns heavily. Moving on to search and destroy on defense, you want to try to hold all lanes of sight so you can have everything accounted for. If you know there's 3 on bomb, let's say it's on Mercado, and you know 3 went A, there might be 1 lingering and holding flank down mid. I know I like to do that a lot. I always like to play the sniper on Mercado and play at top mid and be on the RV, and I always hold the flank. So I hold the guy trying to come through the gate, or I'll try to be sneaky enough where the guy coming past RV can't see me. I try not to move, and I try to stay very stealthy in that area so I can hold that sight. And usually, especially early in the game, people don't have Deady yet, you're gonna catch somebody flanking through there. But you're gonna want to be reading the enemies. Are they aggressive? Are they super passive? Is someone sniping? This will change how you play. If you know someone's sniping, you're not gonna peek these sniper angles, or you're not gonna be as confident when you peek them at least. So maybe you shouldn't be doing it. You need to maybe run a sub and get up on their face, or you might need the gun. I mean, sometimes making a sniper miss 1 shot can be the difference in winning the gunfight or not. If you make him miss that first shot, there's a good chance he's not gonna hit the second one, or he's gonna start panicking during that shot. So you gotta read what the enemy's doing. If they're being super aggressive, maybe you need to hold off on defense, or maybe you need to get a little bit more aggressive and try to get a farther up a spot. And maybe you need to change up where you're throwing your flashes, where your nades are at. These are just things you gotta read and try to figure out what they do. People, especially in gold, platinum, and diamond, they run the same play over and over, guys. They aren't changing up what they're doing. If you can read a play, you're gonna be able to figure that stuff out pretty easily for your team. And you can even call it out to your team. Hey, this guy always does this flash and then peeks this spot. Hey, this guy always pops dead. This guy always goes for lower bed on offense, and he tries to get control of that. He always goes couches. This is kind of reading that stuff. Maybe you guys can have a guy hold mid with an AR then, and you just gun him down. On offense, on search and destroy, you really need to either do 2 things. You need to get a pick and then rotate towards that site, or you get super aggressive all up in their face. Whatever you're gonna do, always have a game plan. Never go into a round of search not knowing what you're gonna do. I always love, especially early on in search, just so I don't sometimes win searches early. I usually win, like, if I win, I will be like a 6-3, or we just slam them real quick, or we sometimes you lose. That happens too. But usually what happens is we go like 1-1, 2-2, and then you start the good players start pulling away, because you can pick up what people are doing. I like to stay pretty passive at the beginning of search games, because then you can kind of learn what the enemy is doing and read, who's doing what this person likes doing, and maybe you can just get some AR kills, or just hold some common lines of sight and see if they are going to push right into you with a sub. On control's a whole different beast, guys. I'm just not gonna lie. On offense, you gotta play together. You gotta get your kills. You have to get the kills before going fully into the site, and that's something most people just don't do. If they're already on site, guys, they're probably already pushed up through site. You just gotta get your picks, and then once the first wave's gone, you gotta get in there and you gotta contest the hill. So basically, get your kills, move up, get control of the hill, hill and you want to see if you guys can push forward a little bit, maybe 2 or 3 on the hill and one guy trying to cut off people slash, you know, protecting your flank. A lot of different maps, you can do different game plans. However, a lot of people just jump the objective and die, and they aren't playing with your team, and that is never good. Sometimes you do want to be on the objective. You know there's no one close, or you know you have a good line of sight rope that you're holding. You know, maybe sometimes hopping the hill to stop time is a good thing. Maybe you can get 1 tick. Maybe, you know, you just gotta play it by ear. You gotta figure out what the enemy's doing, where they're at. You see, oh, there's 3. Someone calls up 3 on B, and you know 1 just died. Hey, guess what? You got nobody on A right now, so you have A wide open. Hold that, and you're gonna stop time. Stopping time and control is huge for your team. And on defense, understand what objectives you don't want to lose, like an Expo. You really don't want to lose A, and a Silo, you don't want to lose B. Hotel, you really don't want to lose B as well. You may find off spawn going 3-1 split on these sites. Having the extra player in the site you don't want to lose. Let's say on Hotel you send 3 people B, maybe 1 will peek top mid, and that will be kind of like their help with A, and they can rotate over to A real quick if they need to as well. But that's just kind of the basics. Some people do, some people don't. Sometimes you just want to hold line to sight, you know, play it like team deathmatch and get your kills, get the spawn trap going. I like getting spawn traps going, holding them in a certain area, making them, you know, gun you and get a good kill to get out of the spawn trap. And that's the best way to play control as well. But once they break out of that spawn trap, sometimes it gets messy, and sometimes they can get a lot of advancement really fast. So you just gotta watch out for that. So hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Drop a like and subscribe if you did, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Thank you guys, appreciate you.